Well met everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Hearthstone Tips. Today I would like to talk about minions and what makes them good. Now this question is probably as old as Hearthstone itself. Minions are the backbone of every Hearthstone deck, and unlike Magic the Gathering where you can actually create decks that consist of spells and lands only, you're absolutely dependent on valuable and good minions in Hearthstone. Alright, when talking about minions you have to consider three things. First, the mana cost. Second, its stats. And third, the effects that comes with them. So let's actually take a closer look at those three aspects by using one of the most solidly performing minions there are, the Chillwind Yeti. Its mana cost is 4 and its combined stats, that means if you add its attack and health value, equals 9 total. The general rule is that for a minion to be considered above average, its combined stats should be more than double its mana cost. Since the Yeti has really good stats, it doesn't come with any additional effects like Enrage or Charge, because that would make it really OP. But not only does the Yeti have really good stats, it also has the right stats. In my opinion, health is slightly more important than attack, because it will make your minions survive longer on the battlefield, which means your opponent will have to invest more resources to actually get rid of it. The health bonus will also very likely make it trade against 2 minions if being played on turn 4 or 5. Being able to trade 2 for 1 is quite a trademark of good minions, I think. Now for those of you who aren't really sure what that means, trading 2 for 1 basically wants to say that the Yeti forces 2 cards out of your opponent in order to deal with it. That could be 2 minions, 2 spells, or a minion and a spell. All in all, 4 or 5 is pretty much the perfect stat line for a 4-drop minion, since it can also neither be targeted by the Priest's Shadow Words or Shadow Madness, while its 5 health make it survive Flame Strikes and Swipes, which is super likely going to happen in the arena when you're facing mages and druids, 2 of the most popular arena classes there are. Other minions that fall into the same category as the Yeti, meaning they have really good and tanky stats and thus trade well, can be found at almost any mana level, for example the Bloodseal Raider, the Spiteful Smith, or the Boulderfist Ogre. That's also the reason why you tend to see those cards in decks that don't have weapons in the arena. People pick those cards simply because of their great stats. So the next time you're having trouble deciding between 2 minions, considering those aspects might actually help you out a little bit. So now that we've talked about the importance of stats compared to the minion's mana cost, let's move on to the effects. When a minion has an effect, its stats are usually a little bit weaker in return. There are a few exceptions to this rule, for example the Amani Berserker or the Knife Juggler that come with above average stats combined with a pretty lovely effect. The important question is when it is actually acceptable to take a minion with relatively weak stats only because of its effect. Let's compare 2 of those cards and elaborate which one is better. The first card we want to take a look at is one of the arena's top tier 6-drop, the Argent Commander. It costs you 6 mana and its combined stats equal 6 as well. So wow, according to what we've just found out earlier with the Yeti, this card should actually be absolute garbage. That's not the case however, simply due to the fact that it comes with Divine Shield and Charge. This combination makes it super strong and basically gives you free decision about how you want to use your first attack with it. This is also what makes the Argent Commander trade 2 for 1 just like the Yeti in most cases. This card is awesome because it's super reliable. Other cards where the minion's effect is just too great to be ignored would also be for example Stormwind Champion or the Frostwolf Warlord. And I won't count legendaries in here because they're normally all pretty good. A card that is really being stigmatized by its terrible stats for instance is the rarely seen Kidnapper. His stats are so underwhelming and he doesn't really have an effect with him that justifies that matter. Even worse for him, his effect needs an additional card to be played and thus makes you spend even more mana to get his full potential. Keep your hands off cards like these. Now before we conclude this video, I would like to mention one more thing that might come in handy for you in the arena. When having the choice between normal minions and the so-called token generators, which basically means that the minion summons another minion along with it, like the Silverhand Knight for example or the Dragonling mechanic, I would almost always pick the token generator simply due to the fact that they boost your board presence and will force out more cards out of your opponent to effectively deal with them. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope some of you will actually find this piece of information useful the next time you're gonna draft an arena deck. What minions are your favorite ones and why? Feel free to share your opinion in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Have a great day everyone, and may the card gods watch over you.